It's that time of the year. Your vacation is coming up. You can already hear the beach waves, feel the warm breeze, relax, and think about work. You really, really want it all to work out while you're away. Monday.com gives you and the team that peace of mind. When all work is on one platform and everyone's in sync, things just flow. Wherever you are, tap the banner to go to Monday.com.
On today's Smart 7, peaceful protests bring calm to the streets, Ukraine mounts attack in Russia and much more. It's Thursday 8th of August, it's International Cat Day and happy birthday Shawn Mendes.
The Smart 7, it's news but not the news.
The nation was braced for more violent anti-immigration protests on Wednesday evening, but instead thousands of counter-protesters turned out to protect the buildings on the far-right list. There were peaceful crowds gathered across the country in cities including Bristol, Walthamstow, Brighton and Newcastle, and in Liverpool the crowd chanted "Migrants are welcome here." Met Police Commissioner Mark Rowley says the police are working hard to clamp down on those behind last weekend's violence.
We'll throw the full force of the law at offenders, whether that's charging people with assaults, riot, and if terrorism offences are appropriate. I know the Director of Public Prosecutions has said he's prepared to consider that.
The policing plan, combined with the reaction of the public, seems to have led to a cancellation of what appeared to be planned protests across the UK. Social media and messaging channel Telegram says it is working to crack down on any far-right groups using its platform to plan violent action. Deputy PM Angela Rayner says social media companies have a responsibility not to facilitate those intent on disorder.
People have a responsibility to deal with the online misinformation, but also not to spread that hate. And people who are online spreading violence and inciting violence will be met with the law, as well as those that turn up and try and throw missiles at police and at our community.
The Post Office inquiry has concluded its current modules and is not due to sit again until September, when it will move into a review of current practices at the organisation. In the meantime, Fujitsu's European boss Paul Patterson has finally met with the sub-postmasters who are at the centre of the long-running scandal. He had promised that he'd meet with them in January, but it's taken 7 months to get everyone around the table. He offered apologies from the Japanese IT company behind the Horizon system, and former sub-postmaster Mark Kelly says it was good to finally have a chance to get some things off his chest.
He did apologise. It did give some relief. And he also did listen to what I was telling him, and he'd said he might come back for the future, to have future meetings and discuss about going forward.
Russia has been quietly gaining ground in the Donetsk region of Ukraine over recent weeks, as it has used its superior manpower to gradually push back exhausted Ukrainian defenders. Although Ukraine now has F-16s in its air force, the flow of weapons and troops to the front line has been slow. So it was somewhat surprising that Ukraine has launched an incursion into Russia's Kursk region. It certainly appears to have taken the Russian military by surprise, and a force of Ukrainian troops seems to have progressed as far as 10 miles into Russian territory. They appear to have met relatively little resistance so far and are closing in on a natural gas terminal and a key railway junction as the Russian governor of the region has declared a state of emergency. Not surprisingly, Vladimir Putin is not happy, describing the raid as a major provocation. He held a meeting with key leaders on Wednesday and had assurances from his chief of staff Gerasimov that things were under control.
The enemy's advance into the territory in the Kursk direction has been halted. Units of the North Group of Forces, together with the Border Service, continue to destroy the enemy. The operation will conclude with defeating the enemy and reaching the state border.
The Middle East remains braced for a retaliatory strike from Iran on Israel, but so far there has been no significant attack. Iran threatened a drastic punishment after the death of both a Hamas leader and a senior Hezbollah commander last week, but as yet things have remained broadly calm. There has been plenty of high-pressure diplomacy behind the scenes, with Russia calling for restraint and US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken working diplomatic channels to engineer a de-escalation. Former UK diplomat Lord Ricketts says things remain finely balanced.
It is at knife edge. I think both Iran and Hezbollah are bound to retaliate. for those 2 assassinations a week ago. So we really are at a very dangerous moment in the Middle East.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, Team GB celebrate a landmark win and Jamie Lee Curtis becomes a legend. Right after this.
This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
Welcome back. Wednesday saw Team GB celebrate winning their 1,000th Olympic medal in the modern era. There were no new golds for Team GB, but there were some hard-fought silver and bronze medals to add to the tally. On the cycle track, there was a silver in the men's team pursuit and bronze in the women's, while in the men's 400-metre final, Matthew Hudson-Smith looked to have gold within his grasp when American Quincy Hall came from nowhere to win the race. Hudson-Smith set a new personal best and a new European record, but that was still only enough to get silver. He was still pretty happy after the race, though, and surprised to see his family in the crowd.
I didn't even know they were here. I hate them watching me as well. I know my mum and my dad don't really watch me because they hate it just as much as I hate them watching me. So it's crazy that they came, and it's been a hell of a journey, man.
The official LA premiere for the new video game adaptation Borderlands took place in the early hours of Wednesday morning. The cast turned out to support it, with Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jack Black and Cate Blanchett, who wore an outfit that seemed to be made out of spoons. Jamie Lee Curtis is in the middle of filming the Freaky Friday sequel with Lindsay Lohan, and she's also due to be officially crowned as a Disney legend. She says she's a bit nervous ahead of Sunday's ceremony.
I'm a little nervous about it. That to me is a little more daunting. It's one thing to be nominated for something and you get to go and be like, I'm never going to win it, and then maybe you win it. Sometimes you don't, sometimes. And it's the fun of being in the community of artists. This is like you're coming and we are talking about you, and that makes me nervous.
It's easy to forget about Apple TV Plus for some reason, as Netflix, Disney Plus and Prime Video seem to make a lot more noise. But there are some great shows in that little black box, although rumour has it budgets are being cut. Sneaking in under the wire before The Accountants is a brand new 7-part psychological thriller with an all-star cast. It's called Disclaimer, and it's written and directed by multiple Academy Award winner Alfonso Cuarón. The cast includes Cate Blanchett, Kevin Kline and Sacha Baron Cohen, and it's set to drop on October 11th.
Beware of narrative and form. Their power can bring us closer to the truth, but because of our own deeply held beliefs, they can also be a weapon with a great power to manipulate. Ladies and gentlemen, be aware.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Hey, it's Danny Pellegrino from Everything Iconic. Ready to upgrade your style game without blowing your budget? Check out Quince. They've got all the good stuff, shirts and polos, activewear, and fine leather goods, all at 50 to 80% less than other high-end brands. And the best part? They're all about safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing. Get that luxury vibe without the luxury price tag. Hit up quince.com/upgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's quince.com/upgrade.